that were created from falsies. You know, I guess we all blow those when we were kids, and so these were simulated dandelions made from eyelashes. They're very fuzzy. And in this was a commission for a show about Eudora Welty. And in this case, eyelashes are sprouting from linoleum, kind of like they would on the beauty parlor floor, maybe. And a lot of fuzz together makes a haze, meaning hundreds of little motions, hundreds of little pieces suspended together creates an environmental effect that is somehow related to that I don't know, I'm looking for this fuzz and in this corporality in it. And this is all lingerie ribbon, so when lots of these little pieces are put together, there's this tactility and tiny movements and indices of hands at work, making in broader environmental conglomeration. And it can get gauzy and it can get hazy and remain intimate. And then when I was asked to go to China one year to do a show, I was thinking a lot about this. That year was a really bad year for mining accidents in the United States. I can't remember the year exactly, I'm sorry. I think 2004. There were 27 or 8 casualties of miners in the United States dying in the mines. That same year, there were 20,000 of similar accidents in China. It led me to think about, this kind of large-scale, human effort and activity and labors. It's kind of hard to work on that. But I started to think about human skin, again, this kind of corporality. And incidentally, I like to look at wood veneers a lot. And they're kind of the skin part of the wood where you see its grain. And it looked fleshy. And so I scanned these wood grains and printed them onto transparent medium and laid them up with gauzy fabric and pinked the edges to try to make a screen of skin-like stuff for China that hung in an old factory there. It was called Skin Trade, and it was beaded and bowed and strung up and woven, and lots of fingers were in motion. And there were pigs there too. So you could look at the pig skin through the wood veneer skin. And so the more tactile, corporeal, fuzzy haze, I started to wonder about the optics of it, the tectonics of it, and if you wanted to do that on purpose in a built way. So I started to study looking through meshes, and that is something that comes up in building a lot. There's a lot of screening that happens in building, in creating environments. And the optics of a haze seemed really fascinating. And something about the haze seems to compel a desire to see more clearly, to focus, to find something to focus on. It's kind of an ironic thing. So with creating that phase, this particular haze is made out of that cellular plastic that you can buy, and I just sliced it and stacked it up. And when you get back from it, you can see through it depending on the light, If you get really far back, it's almost transparent because your brain puts all the little tiny holes together. Does that make sense? No? A little bit? Okay. When you get up really close, you can only see the hot little spot that you would look at that's sort of as big as your eye. So I was thinking about hazes and how they make you want to see harder, to look through, to squint through, and that reminded me of fuzz and the other things I loved and cared about. So when faced with this electrical substation, you know, there was a very strict requirement. They don't want you to go into them at all. And there's a maximum opening permitted in the substation of 3 inches in any direction, which means it's a very, very dense barrier that needs to be built. You know, substations are all around us. You know, you'll find them. They're at the